Hi guys, it's Paula from Older Girl Beauty, and I'm coming to you today. I wanted to talk to you about tinted moisturizers. Now the thing about this is I thought I would be able to narrow this down and talk to you a couple of the new ones that I'm really liking for the summer, but then I started going through my stash and realizing that's not possible. I have clearly a large collection of tinted moisturizers, and there's a reason that I prefer tinted moisturizers. I have freckles. Surprise! But the thing about my freckles is I hate for them to look mattified. And a lot of the times when I use a pure foundation, it is a little too heavy for my freckles and it mattifies them down, and then I look like I have a mask on, and I can't stand that. I like a more natural look to my face to show off my cute freckles to go along with my cute dimples. So I don't want something heavy. So tinted moisturizer has really worked well for me, but I'm kind of scattered in the fact that I like to have tinted moisturizers do different things. So I have a variety, but let me tell you, tinted moisturizers are the best thing that you can use in the summer because they're moisturizing and they keep you from having to put on multiple layers, because in the summer we are so weighted down and sweating, and we don't want to feel like we have 8 layers of stuff on our face. So if you can get a good tinted moisturizer, it's going to take away the need to use your moisturizer in the morning. I still recommend using one at night, of course, to if you're extremely dry and you feel the need that you need the extra moisture. Another thing is most tinted moisturizers have an SPF in them. So while it can help you reduce your sunscreen use in the morning, because not all of the tinted moisturizers have a real high level of SPF, they do have some in them. So if for some reason you think that your sunscreen is a little too heavy right now, at least you're getting some protection in your tinted moisturizer. Now, tinted moisturizers come in a range of things. They come anywhere from drugstore, and drugstore is really branching out and bringing in more tinted moisturizers, along with going to, of course, the high end. But then there are some products that you wouldn't think of as traditional tinted moisturizers, and they end up really working well for that fact. I thought I was going to be able to narrow this down, and I can't. So I'm just going to touch on a few now, and I think probably on my website, oldergirlbeauty.com, I'm probably going to run a series where I talk about the different tinted moisturizers that I use and what I like them for. Because I swear, even with everything that I have found for right now, I probably have some more stashed, and I just can't even touch on them right now. But let me show you. You guys may be familiar with e.l.f. e.l.f. used to be online only. It's eyes, lips, and face, and it is way cost effective. Like this tinted moisturizer is available at Target now, and this only cost me $3. And it contains aloe, cucumber, vitamins A, C, and E, and has an SPF of 20. So, I mean, that's kind of hard to beat if you can find your color in at Target. $3. If you buy it online, they have, if you sign up for their newsletter, you get discounts all the time. So, I mean, you can get their studio line for half off sometimes. American Beauty is at Kohl's, and they have come out with a tinted moisturizer, which I really like this one. The only downside I really feel like with this line is they don't have a broad range of colors, but that may expand, or you may be able to combine to mix and match. In fact, my freckles really throw me off because my freckles give me a warm feeling to my face, but actually I have cool undertones, so sometimes it's kind of tricky to find just the color for me. So I've actually found that if I mix a couple of the American Beauties, I have a really good shade for my tone. Another drugstore is Milani, and I've had this for a while, so they may have changed their packaging so far. But I really like this one, but the only downside to this one that I found is there was no SPF in this one. Again, I've had this for a while, so they may have updated, they may have sunscreen in it. I'll look, and when I talk about this one, I'll give you a little bit more detail. The Bobbi Brown tinted moisturizer that they've come out with, it has an SPF of 15. This one almost gives me a mattified kind of look when I put it on, but not in a masky way, just in a way that I don't look like I'm shiny when I make this. So another thing that you may look for in a tinted moisturizer is to give you some luminosity. Now, a couple of ones that I have found is the Luminizing Moisture Tint, and I am going to screw up their name, Jouer, Jouer. I apologize if I have screwed up their name. And then the Becca. The Becca Luminizing is SPF 25. Their tube is kind of rubberized, so it's really easy. You don't drop it. Another one is CoverFX Skin Tint FX. Now, I know they've changed their packaging since I started using them. This one actually isn't necessarily a tinted moisturizer. This is actually more of a tint to give you kind of a bronzy look, but like not in a heavy way. Like this goes on so sheer that what color I get from it is not a real strong like self-tanner color, but it's enough to kind of give me just a hint of color. Another one that I have, Clinique. This one is actually the neutral color, which is, I would mostly say it's just mid-tone, mid-range color. Of course, not everybody falls into neutral. MAC has come out with the Studio Moisture Tint. Again, this one has an SPF of 15 and Studio Moisture Tint, SPF 15. Another thing that is kind of coming out now in the United States are the BB creams, which the Beauty Balm, Beauty Blemish creams that have been so popular in Asia. It's making its way over here. Now, these are not as much like traditional Asian BB creams in the fact that, from what I'm familiar with, is they definitely want to give a more alabaster color, so it almost has more whitening, but not so much here in the U.S. Mostly what the U.S. ones are trying to do with MAC's Prep and Prime Beauty Balm and Boscia BB Cream, they are trying to do multi-purpose products. They want to be your moisturizer, your primer, your tinted moisturizer. They want to be multiple things, and they do them well. But one of the things, again, color-wise, if you have a darker complexion, these BB creams are not really going to work as a tinted moisturizer for you guys because they are more for the fairer skins. You may go to a medium tone. I don't know that I would say that it would go much darker than that, but again, I guess that's really one of the downsides of tinted moisturizers is a lot of times they don't have colors for the darker complexions, whereas foundation ranges tend to have some more of those. But again, some of those ranges don't even go for a lot of the darker complexions anyway. Also. So one more thing that I had found that I didn't expect to be a tinted moisturizer is the Miracle Skin Transformer, MST. This is the Treat and Conceal Eye and Face, and it was promoted to me as more like a cover-up or a concealer, but I made the mistake one night and I put out too much. And so here I was trying to put it under my eyes, and I had all this left over, and I was like, you know what, forget it. We'll just put it all over. So I put it all over, and sure enough, this worked really well as a tinted moisturizer for me. Now, I do believe that they have a standard tinted moisturizer that they do, but this one happens to be the Treat and Conceal, which is supposed to be more for blemish and under eye coverage. But I'll look and see if I can get a little more information for their standard tinted moisturizer. But I'm telling you, there are tinted moisturizers for just about everything you want, just for mattifying, for a little bit of coverage, depending on how sheer you want it. Some of these you can actually let it kind of dry between layers, and you can build up some of them. But a tinted moisturizer really isn't meant to be as heavy as a foundation, nor to give that much coverage, which makes it a really great choice, like I said, for in the summer, because otherwise you are going to just sweat and melt it off. Now, not a lot of these are meant for mattifying properties or to keep oil at bay. So if you find that you have a lot of problem with that, again, you know, I'm a big proponent of primers. Find a good mattifying primer. Use that first and follow it up with a tinted moisturizer. Yes, it's another layer. However, it also can control and keep your oiliness at bay. Now, I'm not one for powdering or setting my makeup when it comes to using a pressed powder or a translucent powder. When I do use one, I use the Mally Beauty Poreless Face Defender that I've talked about, which is a clear setting solid, and but that's really it. And I don't even use that often. I use it when I think maybe I'm going to be around a lot of people in a more formal setting, or if I know that I'm going to be out somewhere and it's just going to melt right off my face. So I tend to set it with that. But again, I'm not really a powder girl, so I can't speak to how these really work as well with a setting powder. But if you've used it with a powder, with a setting powder, let me know, because I'm curious to see how it works for you. Maybe it might be something that could convince me to change and try using a powder with it. I'm really interested to know. Like I said, I'll get into a little bit more detail about these tinted moisturizers on my site, Older Girl Beauty, and talk about them individually and what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and see if I can find some others. If you have any suggestions for tinted moisturizers that maybe I didn't mention, maybe one I've missed, leave me a comment, shoot me an email at oldergirlbeauty@gmail.com, and I'll see what I can find out. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.